Good morning, everybody. How are you? Hope you're well. What are we doing? We're driving into work today. Let's see, we've got some editing to do this morning and a show to record this afternoon. We are going through the Valley Forge tavern talk. That's going to be the first one released this year because it's winter. Wanted to get it out earlier, but it just didn't happen. So you ever kind of get sick of things in your life happening because of the decisions of others or the just other things out of your control, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Like, you plan for everything, you think you're going to do this, you think you're going to do that, and then something out of your control happens that forces it to be delayed, right? That's kind of what happened this winter. But you know what? That's how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it goes. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have my opening statement. But anyway, so we're going to get that Valley Forge one out first. The Valley Forge, they're all a little different for various reasons. Valley Forge is different because I believe that most people in the audience, that's not our wheelhouse. We're all Gettysburg people. We all knew a little bit about Valley Forge going in, and we got, material to prepare for the talk. And while there was discussion, there was less discussion on this one than on any of the others. And I think it's two reasons. One, we as a group, we didn't have that foundational knowledge, but also Ken Gavin, who is our guest historian, does such a great job. He's a very engaging speaker. And if you ever get a chance to go see Ken somewhere, go see Ken. You'll enjoy it. Even if you don't care about the revolution, you're going to when you're finished with a Ken Gavin talk. And I think, speaking for myself, but I think nobody disagreed with me when I said this at the end. I think the audience and I were just kind of enthralled with listening to Ken and taking it all in, that we just listened and we let him talk. And so that's the kind of the flavor of that one. The Custer one and the John Brown one are probably the two hardest. Difficult to try to sculpt, and finally we just said, you know what? It's if we try to cut this down for time, we're going to misrepresent the discussion, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose of these tavern talks and the new way we're doing things with audience participation. It's not to control what people say, it's to allow people to say what they think, what they feel, and explore, parse, break down, refute, argue, whatever the points, until we feel that we get to something resembling the truth of the matter. And so we said we can't cut it down. There were some things we cut out because maybe somebody went on a little too long and really was kind of exploring for their point. So once they find their point, we just cut to that because it was like a 3-minute soliloquy. But for the most part, we keep it pretty chill, and keep it pretty much the way it played out. So there's that. So Custer, and which that's not really Custer, it's the Little Bighorn, and John Brown were probably the two most controversial people that we talked about, and the discussion did not disappoint. It was both of them were lively discussions, so they're long, and the conversation meanders, kind of goes all over the place. But if you stick with it, you pay attention, you'll follow it. And then finally, Airborne. That one is a totally different one. That was a good discussion, I thought. Didn't meander. Got right down to the point. I mean, we were being led by a Marine colonel, so we had no time for bullshit, right? It was really clean. That's the way I think of that one. That's clean. That's going to theoretically be an easier edit. And so anyway, they're going to start coming out soon as we get this bastard done. And we're talking weeks still, but still, that's what we're doing today. And then Carolyn Ivanov is coming on this afternoon to talk about Cornelia Hancock. She's got a book coming out about her soon, and this is for that. And so, full day. 6 questions says, morning, good is to be determined, good point. Valerie just goes straight for the good morning. Donald, morning. Barbara, good morning. Bad sound. Of course, Barbara coming in with the bad sound. I feel you about things out of your control. Yes, Mike, yeah, I believe you do. Ron, good morning. Rich, good morning. Great song reference. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. Yep. Yeah, I wanted to say, I wanted to finish the lyric, but I'm not down. Didn't get me down. It's, this is how it is. You'll notice patches of green. We've had some warmer weather, some rain, which helps us get rid of this ugly white pollution called snow. So that's nice. It's there's little signs. February comes, and you gotta learn to recognize and enjoy and be thankful for the little signs that spring is coming. I still think it's gonna come in May, but still, it's coming. The earth is tilting the way it's supposed to. Morning, Ken. Stella, good morning. Love the opening statement. The facts of life, so true. Yes. That's how it works. Gotta live with it. That's why I feel bad for people that like, it sucks. Everything in life sucks. That's the whole point, really. It's supposed to suck. But it only sucks because we have this goofy idea that it could ever be good. And by good, I mean easy, without worry, without fear, without calamity, without things coming out of left field and surprising us. Where that notion comes in, I don't know. And I don't know if there ever was a generation in the United States that ever lived that way. But we have this idea in our head that things can be good and stay good. You have good moments, but you don't, and you could even have a good period of time, but it doesn't last. Nothing lasts. This too shall pass. Good, bad, ugly, beautiful. It's all gonna go. And so you gotta learn to just roll with those punches. And I think we wouldn't need therapists so much if we could just dissuade ourselves of this notion that life is ever gonna get good and easy for a long period of time. It's just not. Sorry, folks. Oh, is today President's Day? Happy President's Day. 6 questions. Morning, Matt Gillespie. Good morning, Getty's Nerds. Hashtag 2026Q. Morning. Same to you, 6Q. Morning, Matthew G. Ken. Subscribe, like, share. Yes, Matt Gillespie has a great point. Be sure. Oh, not only like, share, and subscribe, but there's a new feature, and I suspect it will help defeat the algorithm. It's called Hype. Now, I don't know exactly what it does, but it gives us points. It doesn't cost you anything. And I guess those points add up. So I would say hype, share, and subscribe. Of course, liking is still going to do what it does. So you got to actually do it all. Like, share, subscribe. And when you share, again, don't share it on your Facebook page where you have 25 friends and none of them are interested in the Civil War. Might as well throw it into a dark, soundproof room that has no oxygen. Now, what you need to do is you need to go into those Gettysburg groups, those history groups. And when those tavern talks come out, we're really going to need you to do that. When it's a Valley Forge one, go to the Revolutionary War groups, share it in there. It's an airborne one, go to the D-Day groups, share it in there when it's an airborne group or whatever. That's the stuff that helps. You got to get them in front of a lot of eyes. Thank you, Matt, for the cafe and rock and roll all-stars. Thank you. Lieutenant Dan, thank you. Oh, where am I going? Sorry, I meant to take you around the battlefield. I'm not paying attention. I'm going straight to work. Let us go this way. Yeah, that's right. April's not too far away. We've got Get Out of the Car tour coming, and we've got, well, most importantly, we have our show at the Totem Pole Theater, Playhouse, whatever you want to call it. It's technically the Playhouse, which I am becoming increasingly despondent about because it's on a Sunday. I had some ideas to make it, a little more of an entertaining show, but everybody can't do it because it's a Sunday. And I suspected all along when I found out it was a Sunday that's also going to hurt with the audience. Although it's at 2 p.m, so it's still plenty of time for you to go home if you're coming from afar. But if you're a patron, you can get tickets to that show now. And if you're not a patron, you'll have to wait till a month out, and the tickets will be available to the general population. Or if you're a member of the Totem Pole Playhouse, you can get the tickets as well right now. Just go to their website and do all the member things you do. Patrons, you just go scroll down. I don't know, I'll keep resharing it. I shared it twice. But yeah, we hope to see you guys there. I am expecting a failure. So anything more than a failure, as far as audience turnout goes, will be a pleasant surprise. But we do have some things planned. Our goal here is to turn the theater crowd onto our history, their history. It's all of our history. And there's a lot of it here. And of course, the battle is the big thing that sucks up all the oxygen. But there, of course, is a lot more history here. But of course, we're going to talk about the battle because that's our wheelhouse. So we're doing a recording of an Ask a Guide. It's going to come out for the anniversary. And yeah, so the more the merrier. It'll sound better, it'll look better, all that jazz. But also, it's not an experiment. What do you call it? It's like an exercise that we will do towards the end of the show that I think will be a visual aid for certainly the people at home, but also the people in the room. But I think it's a technique used often on tours around here to drive home the point of casualties. And so the more people we have, the better, because then we can make it like the size of a regiment, let's say, a small regiment. So yeah. Ken Wyman, looking forward to April 12th. Thank you, Ken. I think you and 3 other people will be in the audience. Wonder Monkey calling Matt Gillespie Gillespie, as Tad called him the other day. Number 4, Mark 1 says the Battle of Shrewd Farms, a very, very often forgotten saga of the Civil War, northernmost battle of the Civil War. Yeah, Ken, it is still early. I guess that's a good point. But the whole point of like early exclusive access to ticket sales is to, get the hardcore people, the diehards, their seat. So, I mean, it's actually, I have to check and see what the latest is, but when I first looked at it like 3 weeks ago, I was like, ugh. But it could be more now. Who knows? Jeff says, Totem Pole will be an audio and visual extravaganza. Years from now, people who were not there will claim to be there. Don't miss out. That's a great point, Jeff. You're absolutely right. As are all Addressing Gettysburg events, by the way. A lot of people say, a lot of people say that they're probably the greatest unknown things that there are out there. And a lot of people say that we do it the right way. I don't know who they are, but they say it. I'm just looking closely to make sure we don't lose service. Did we lose service? Just saw the screen dim. Babber says, did you ever see Casey when you were supposed to? No, he didn't show up. I'm just going to chalk it up to he has a new job. And when you get a new job, especially a job in hospitality, there's no 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. We were having a party at the house, and he had RSVP'd in the positive, but didn't show. So I'm assuming it's that. He's usually good at communication, so I'm going to just call him and see. But yeah, I'd not hear from him. It's Lil Toilette says, I'm the greatest invention of all time. Don says, good morning from Rochester, New York, home the 140th New York. I would love to take you there, but I will lose service. To their monument, I mean. Mr. Gutty says, plan on ordering my ticket soon. Looking forward to it. All right, there you go. There's another one. By the way, Ryan from the Totem Pole. No, that doesn't sound right. Ryan Gibbs. Yeah, no, yeah. He'll be on the show this week. We're going to record a promo for it, and I'll live stream it to the patrons. And that will come out when it is free for everybody to buy a ticket. That'll come out to promote that. So. Jimbo says, how many casualties did Mahone's brigade suffer? I know they were hardly engaged. 42. I don't know. I'm being an ass. I don't know that off the top of my head because they weren't really engaged. So I never really paid attention to them. But I'm sure somebody in the audience wouldn't mind Googling it for you right now and giving an answer in the comment section, because that's the way we are. We help each other figure shit out. It's Little Toilet says, lots of toilets, more toilets than before, the greatest toilets, like you've never seen, the best money can buy. Gold toilets. Gaslight says, how important would you say logistics, economic transition to war footing and ability to maintain the currency of the US dollar was to the Union victory? I think it was more than anything, everything. I think that all of that is, if you can keep an army fed and moving and healthy, you can win. And so all of that stuff was very important. Economically, I don't know much about that. I wouldn't ask me that question. How dare you ask me that question? I don't know that. But logistically, I'm learning more and more as we do more episodes about logistics. And I keep saying it throughout these episodes. I just there's always a point where somebody says something and I go, geez, it's a wonder that the South thought that they could win this at all. Because when you think of all of that stuff, right? Railroads, industry, canning, like all these little things that bore you, those are the actually exciting things, because that makes everything else possible. And if you don't have it all, and you do have it, but it's a very insufficient system, passion and home turf advantage are only going to last you so long. I mean, it's not always, well, no, no, scratch that. All right, Chris got us Mahone's casualties. 102 casualties, 8 killed, 55 wounded, 39 missing. Okay, so it was pretty low. Yeah. Huh. Yes, Babber, we will be doing, that is not correct. We are doing a live AG Today on Patreon. It's free, so you don't have to be a paying member to see it. You could just go over to Patreon, find us, and it'll be there free for everybody to view. But yeah, we do them there. It definitely cut down the number of views an AG Today gets, but so obviously, I always knew it wasn't only patrons watching, but the people who were most enthusiastic about it and commented the most were patrons. So I figured, you know what, I'm gonna show my appreciation more to the patrons, do more patron only things, and give them their props, the propers. Estelle says, I was talking with our fearless leader of the Get Out of the Car tours, Louis Trott, yesterday. He has a horrible head cold right now, poor guy. Knock on wood, which of course there's not one piece of real wood in this entire automobile. What happened to the days when we built our cars out of wood? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh. Everybody around me, the flu, cold, stomach bug. I don't know what it is, but knock on wood, I haven't caught anything yet. Now, I guarantee you, April 11th, I'll come down with the flu. Yes, Jeff, I found my Gettysburg by the Numbers book. It was on the printer. I had taken it in there because I was writing something in the other room and I needed a statistic. And so I forgot that it was in the printer. And of course, Tad didn't, he knew once I showed it to him, I was like, oh, here it is. He was like, oh, I've seen that before, but it was covered by a piece of paper. And so even if he knew what I was talking about, he wouldn't have known to find it. No, clean the office? That would be a miracle. No, nobody has cleaned the office in years. I would love to. The problem is, I don't know what it is. Whether it's where I live or where I work, storage is always an issue. So that must mean I have some kind of mental deficiencies. Because if it's, if it's everywhere I go, then maybe it's me, right? Wherever you go, there you are. But all my storage is full. And so it's kind of like, well, I just got to pile stuff here. I actually had to rent a storage space. And that is almost full. So, see, these are the hidden costs of doing a blockbuster show like Addressing Gettysburg, ladies and gentlemen. You need storage space. You need storage space. Yes, you do. Next North and South episode should be next week. And I believe it's the final one. And then we're going to do the war series later in the year, or the war episodes later in the year. And then, ladies and gents, we are tackling the Old West, and we are going to do Lonesome Dove. This is a gift to you, by the way. If you haven't watched Lonesome Dove, go on Amazon Prime and watch it. Or wait until we do, with Walk with History, the Lonesome Dove shows. There's good history in there somewhere. It's in the background. We hear a couple references to Custer. We hear references to, or we see the Alamo. What else? Oh, Lord. Oh, there's all types of things in there if you know where to look. But what you'll find mostly is the greatest Western ever written and ever made. And this goes for the novel and the films. And I say films because it's 4 2-hour episodes. But though it was a made-for-TV miniseries, it is a very high quality production. And I'll tell you a couple things that are, first of all, it's pretty violent or maybe it isn't, I don't know. Compared to North and South, it's pretty rough and violent and realistic. They don't shy away from certain things that were very much a fact of life back then. And even some things that got past the censors. This was pointed, my friend Angela back in college, she loved Lonesome Dove too. And so on snow days, we would go into the common area and watch Lonesome Dove all day and eat Papa John's pizza while all of our friends were like, why do you guys like this movie so much? Anyway, Angela jumped up and screamed one day, and she goes, oh my God, pardon my French here, ladies and gentlemen. If there's youngsters in the room, please, whatever. But she stands up and she says, oh my God, dicks. And I thought she meant Dorothea or Fort, but she meant male appendages. And it's right there in the beginning of, I think it's episode 3. Now, what's interesting is episode 1 ends with a river scene and a swarm of snakes. Episode 3 begins with a river scene and a swarm of snakes. And I couldn't believe it. I said, wait, this was on CBS. And clearly the censors didn't notice that. But it's there for everybody to see. Once you know it's there, you can't unsee it. So now everybody's going and adding it to their thing. Oh, looks like some people like Lonesome Dove. T-Mail19 says just plain old Lonesome Dove. And Jim says Lonesome Dove is awesome. Water moccasins, yes. That is, yes. Jim agrees with me. He says, I read the book earlier this year and agree with Matt that it is the best Western I've ever read. I said best Western ever written, but also ever read. So I'll combine with you on that one. Ever written, ever read. It is so good. And the performance of Robert Duvall, I think, and he agrees with me, we talked about this, it is his best performance and best character. No, he didn't say his best performance, but he said it was his favorite character to play. And he says because it was like the best character to play that he ever got to play. And he equated it to Hamlet. And I think he said he liked it better than playing Hamlet, which I can't picture Robert Duvall as Hamlet anyway, so I can guess, But anyway, my point is, he is fantastic in it, and he makes that character, which is a lovable, fun-loving character, but you go too far and you're gonna regret that you did. And then he's opposite Tommy Lee Jones. Every role is perfectly cast. Kind of can't stand Angelica Houston, but I think that's her character. I don't think it's her. But every role is perfectly cast. Even little Ricky Schroeder, who I think was like 16, 17 at the time, even he is good. Danny Glover is in it. Tommy Lee Jones is in it. Diane Lane is in it. Beautiful Diane Lane. Robert Urich is in it. Frederick Forrest. What the hell's his name? Is it DeForest or Forrest? Whatever. He's in it. A lot of people that you would know are in it. And everybody does a great job. If you're a Deadwood fan, E.B. Farnham is in it. He plays Lippy, the piano player. I don't know. It's just, I love it. And in fact, I listen to the soundtrack quite often. So that's what we're going to do this year with Walk with History. And she's coming out here in a couple months, and her and her husband Scott, and we're like, well, we got to do something together. So we're going to figure out what that will be. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll do something with them. Nobody ever talks about the epidemic of swarms of water snakes in the Old West. Was it really that big of a deal? All I know is that last shot where they freeze on the snake biting on his cheek, I gotta know how they did that. How they did that special effect. But man, that was good. And I hate that scene because I hate snakes. But then the next episode begins with them burying him. And Gus is Robert Duvall's character, so many great lines. He's a philosopher, as he says. And he's got all these great lines, and he says some words over the grave. He says words over a few graves in this series, and they're always poignant. He knows how to boil it down. Yeah, it's just good stuff. Rich says, I remember watching Lonesome Dove when it was originally broadcast. Each episode a shocking ending, especially with Josh Dietz. Oh, yes. I think it was quite possibly the best miniseries ever. It was. And Motown Films, or Pictures, I forget what they call themselves, but it was a division of Motown. That's right. Motown, the record company. They had a film company. And I want to say this was their first film. And when the executive producer, Suzanne DePass, went in, I guess to the board or whatever, and she's like, all right, here's our first film. And they looked at her like she was crazy. Motown doing a Western? How does that work? She's like, I'm telling you. She grew up, I think, in Queens or Brooklyn, but in New York, but always loved horses and Western stuff. And she was drawn to this. And this is a great example, or that is a great example of always march to your own drum. Because where she grew up, the community she grew up in, Westerns were not a thing. But she found something alluring about that whole thing, horses, that culture, and she followed her heart to it, and later it gave the world a gift. And so stop trying to be like everybody else. Stop trying to march to the same beat as everybody. Find your own rhythm and fucking march to it already. It's a long, lonely life. It is. And you make more enemies than friends along the way. But once you realize it's because they're jealous of you, because they wish they had the nerve to do what you do, which is seek your own path and then cut it, then it actually becomes fun. So that's the lesson there. Okay. Duvall is 95 now. Yeah, I heard that he's got the old timers. So we're not hearing from him much anymore. I think he's not well. But I heard that through somebody who would know. Jeff says, never seen it, but now I will have to check out Lonesome Dove. I'll tell you this, Jeff, and you might want to make Brandy watch it with you, because my sister loves it. And my sister cannot stand Westerns. She cannot stand history. But she loves the Dove, as we call it in our family. It is a staple in our family. The book, she's even read the book. I didn't know she could read, being honest here. She read the book, she's seen the miniseries, and she loves it. And it is such a great story. The characters are so well written and so well performed that anybody can be drawn into this story if you give the first episode a chance. Get through the first episode and you will be happy. Yeah. And then the last episode is a heartbreak. This show does so much to your heart. It warms it. It titillates it. It excites it. And it breaks it. And it does all that in each episode. Except I don't think there's a heartbreak in the first episode. So the remaining 3 episodes have heartbreaks. Some more than one in each episode. There's great gunfights. It's got everything you'd want in a Western, but it doesn't crowbar. There's no sense of anything being forced or cliche or shoving 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. It is just perfectly done. A couple of special effects that obviously show when it was made. We forgive that. Garrick says, never read the book. The book is great. The book makes you respect the movie even more because the movie doesn't get everything in the book in it. Like, in other words, they don't put every scene, every character, everything from the book in the movie. But what they do depict in the movie that's taken from the book is word for word the way it is in the book, with some minor compression compression of things for time or whatever. Condensing, that's the word I was looking for. Do I agree with your argument that the Confederates should have used depot battalions to build more transport networks during 1861? I think it would have been a better allocation of resources. I think that they should have done, well, the first thing they should have done was not start the war. That's what they should have. They should have learned to negotiate and read the tea leaves. That's what they should have done. Then these questions would be moot. But since they didn't, I think then, yeah, if you're going to fight a war, then you've got to curb the stupidity, the stupid mindset that got you into the war in the first place. That all that states' rights and, well, this is ours and that's ours. And, well, no, this is no. You have to have a strong central government if you're going to wage a war. And so the fact that there was such pushback against any kind of move towards centralization throughout the war is stupid and detrimental to the Southern cause. I'm glad they lost. I'm glad they couldn't get their heads out of their asses, because it was stupid to begin with. It was a waste. It was a waste. The whole thing was a waste of life. You could have just grown up and come to the negotiating table, realized where the world was heading, and decided to be a part of it. But you know what? People can't do that to this day. So why am I so upset? I'm not. I got to get my coffee. All right, let's see. Stella says, would anybody agree that the Western wars were nastier than the Civil War? Well, it's a different enemy. Those wars terrify me. They fascinate me, but they terrify me. I'm reading a book about the Comanches. It's a very, very long book, and I don't read every day. So it's taken me months, but I would not, those people who fought them, I mean, I guess they had no choice if you're getting attacked, but like, Jesus, talk about like a formidable enemy. They knew how to fight, and it's no wonder it took us centuries to conquer the land, because they were vicious. And like I think they're like the only enemy we've had that I respect. That the United States has had, that I have any respect for on multiple levels. Valerie, you're gonna love Lonesome Dove. Go watch it now. Don't worry about reading it. You don't need to read it first. You'll still appreciate either work of art, regardless of order, but go watch the movie. Stop what you're doing. If you're at work, go home, say I have a tummy ache, and watch. Rich says, the guy who played Colonel Devon in Gettysburg is in Lonesome Dove. That's right. He's also in Lonesome Dove. T-Mel says, we had horses in my old hood in Brooklyn all the way up to the mid-90s. Yeah, so I think she used to go riding at some stables or something in the city. I'll have to look her up. Well, I will. When we do the show, I'll know for sure. Valerie says, I did, however, read more of North and South this weekend, and I got up to the Mexican War where Ori got injured and lost his arm. It was so different from the show. Okay, that's good to know. Yes, Wundermonkey. Danny Glover is in, whatchamacallit, Lonesome Dove. Stella says, I feel like the poor actors die hard, so sad. Yeah, well, you know, they live full lives. I'm sure a full life is taxing on the mind and the heart. Jim says, great synopsis, Matt, on Dove. I think the best part is how character-driven the story is. Yeah, the story you don't really care about, right? Like their reason for going on this cattle, or even just going out, like, is a cattle drive, but you really don't care about the cattle drive. It's all the shit that happens along the way to these people. The book is called Lonesome Dove, as 109 Six Buds. Comanches, The History of a People by T.R. French. Yeah, is that the one? Is that the one I'm reading? I think it is. I don't know. Somebody told me it was good, and I bought it. I think it is that one. It's a thick book. I think it was written in the 70s. T. Mel says, I love Call and Newt. They are father and son, so that would make sense that you would like them both. I'm a Gus guy all the way. Gus, if I were an old retired ranger, I would be Gus. That is me at my core. If I were allowed to be who I am in the world, I would be Gus. My question about what's the name of the book is the one you were reading about the Comanches. Oh, gotcha. Sorry. Yeah, it's just called Comanches. It might be the history of a people. I can't remember. I'm always bad at remembering authors' names, and because I don't really care. And even the full title, like if your title, if it's a whole paragraph as a title, you lost me. And I don't know why every book now seems to be a title that is 60 words long. I don't have time for that. So, like the big bold letters say Comanche. That's all I need to know. Comanches. There you go. Get me my book, Comanches. Empire of the Summer Moon. Sentence, but apropos. Another great book, if you haven't read that one. I will check the name of the book, and next drive I do, remind me if you're on it and I forget to tell you what it is. But I'm pretty sure it is The History of a People, because it goes back to like Genesis. Like there's no Europeans over here yet. It's going way back. Oh yeah, just stop in and see if they have Lonesome Dove at for the historian. I never thought to look there because I always I go there for nonfiction, but they do have a fiction section. Yeah, Gus is so rad and entertaining. Gus and Call are both so multifaceted and sometimes frustrating, but that makes them feel so right or so real. Yeah, well, yes, they're complete opposites personalities, yet they're best friends. Came up together, served in the Rangers together, went into business together in retirement, and they bicker like an old married couple, but they know everything about each other. And I don't want to give away what happens in episode 4, but you can tell that they are truly like brothers, and they love each other, even though you'd never know it. There's a couple of signs along the way. You think that Call hates Gus by the way he talks to him. But really, I think Call hates that he can't be as easygoing as Gus is. And so he gets angry really at himself, but he takes it out on Gus. But there are a couple of signs where you can see in Tommy Lee Jones's acting where Woodrow F. Call definitely cares about Gus and even young Newt. It could be, Jem. I think it is. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know why, but I put titles of books out of my mind because it's hard enough for me to retain any other knowledge. So why do I need the title? If I have the book and I'm opening it, what do I care? Yeah, but that does sound about right. If it came out in the 70s, then I'm going to say that's exactly what it is. Blue Duck, he's a great villain. Oh God, there's it is such a well-woven story. Oh, and Barry Corbin is in it. And I was on the battlefield last summer, and I met a guy. We were waiting. Actually, it was when the Liberty Rifles were doing their Irish Brigade thing, And I was standing down there in the wheat field with my camera, waiting for them to come, and started talking to these people who were there. And they're from out west somewhere. I want to say Wisconsin, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we get to talking, and this guy is friends with Barry Corbin and his wife. And I said, no kidding. And he goes, yeah. And I said, my friend Bo put him in a couple of his movies. And I go, oh, really? Oh, yeah. And I said, he's also in my favorite movie. And then he goes, is it Lonesome Dove? And I said, yeah, absolutely it is. And he goes, that is such a great series. And Barry Corbin's in it, and he plays Roscoe Brown, and he does it very well. And so he gave me Barry's number, and first checked with it. Well, actually, no. First he checked with Barry's wife if it was okay if I interviewed him. And then Barry said, of course, here's our number. Give us a call. And I just have not built up the courage to give him a call yet. So, but I will. And we'll have Barry Corbin on from Lonesome Dove. In fact, now that we're going to cover Lonesome Dove on Walk with History, I'm going to try to really make that happen. All right. Anyway, I got to get going. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me.